We have a heartbreaking story from a mother-in-law who's a brand new grandma. So her grandson is 3 months old and she's already on the outside looking in. A little backstory. So before her grandson was even born, she threw her daughter-in-law a beautiful baby shower. She offered to take off work once the baby is born so that she can take care of the house and make sure it's a smooth transition for her son and daughter-in-law. She did that. She stayed at their house for 3 days, cleaned it, cooked, did everything that she could. In fact, they invited her back 3 weeks later to stay a full week. So she took a full week off work, went back, took care of the home, everything so that her daughter-in-law could have that bonding time with her baby. Then fast forward 2 months and she receives a bunch of text messages from her daughter-in-law stating, "You've never been there for me. You've never done anything for me. You've never included me in your family." She's been in her family for 9 years. "You've never done anything for me. Therefore, you're cut off and you're never seeing your grandson again." Obviously, she's absolutely devastated and she's reaching out for help. She doesn't know what to do. She's terrified. I mean, as you can imagine, even if you are a parent and not yet a grandparent, I am just like, when I read this story, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So this is what she's done so far, and then I'm going to go over what I would do. She has consulted with family. So she said, "Hey, I need to really know, like, did I do anything? Could this be true? Like, have I excluded her?" And people are just giving her feedback like, "No, you've been so inclusive. You've always tried to love her like your own child." And so she's really stumped there. But I love that you did that. So the next step I would do if this were happening to me is I would self-reflect and I would ask myself, unintentionally, could I have done anything to offend her, make her feel like excluded, or that I'm not doing this stuff for her unintentionally? And I would just kind of go through things that could have been misconstrued or, like just wildly misinterpreted. And I would just make notes of just certain interactions or situations that you're like, oh, actually, when I'm looking back at it, she could have, she was acting a little weird, or maybe she did interpret that differently. So I'd go through that. Once I made my list, if I have anything, then I would call my son and I would say, "I just want to let you know, I understand your household is busy and I'm not trying to push, but I do want to let you know I'm available for a family talk. I'm available if you are open to family therapy. Whatever you need, I'm here and I will respect your boundaries, but I want you to know the door is always open." Then I would send "I'm thinking of you" text at the same cadence I would normally text my child. So if I text him once a week to check in, I would still do that, but I would make sure I'm including the whole family and I'm not excluding my daughter-in-law. So I would say, "I know it's the busy time of season for you. Hope you're having a good day." To my son, "I know Sheila's starting back at work. That's such a hard transition for new moms. I'm thinking about her today. I hope you guys are getting some sleep with the new baby in the house." All that stuff. I would just send "I'm thinking about you" text. Then every now and then I would remind him, my door is open. I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to do family therapy. So that is the way I would approach this. And I would try my best to stay as calm as possible, knowing that right now emotions are very high. Like, I remember postpartum hormones, they hit me so hard and I was all over the place and I was very intense. And so I would self-soothe by reminding myself, like, things are really crazy right now in their household, trying to transition into being parents, plus with postpartum hormones. So I would have patience. I would do the self-reflection. I would let them know my door is always open. So having that open line of communication and just continued support for everyone in the family. That's what I would do. Mind your boundary community. We have a mother-in-law that, as you can imagine, is so heartbroken and devastated, and she could really use our help.